Good morning. Um,
All right.
my name is Pastor Debbie, and I am joined this morning by Steve Neal, who is the chair of our Plan Giving Committee, and Curly Elliott, who is the chair of our Board of Trustees, and Eric Gerstmeyer, who is the chair of our Committee on Finance. And we are going to be having a charge conference as a congregation on Monday, March 22nd. And so they are here to help explain to all of you what it is that we are going to be voting on as a congregation at that charge conference. It's a proposal to move the administration of the money that comes in from bequests, plan giving money, over to our Board of Trustees. Right now, it is managed by our Planned Giving Committee. So, Eric, would you like to share with folks, explain why we are making changes to how planned giving is set up?
Yes, ma'am. So, uh, planned giving is a fund that is um, is funded by folks that passed away. They've left a bequest to the church, and that bequest is very specific in its intent. It's designated to be used for the maintain capital improvements of the facilities themselves. So when those funds enter into planned giving, their use is restricted to those types of capital improvements. So over the last year and a half, Steve and Curly and I have uh, discussed on several occasions when the use of those funds was warranted. And it was a little bit of a cumbersome process just because, Curly was really driving the discussion in that there was a need and that would then get funneled through Finance Committee and then over to Steve and Plan Giving for approval. So the process was just cumbersome. And what we're trying to do here is allow for the Board of Trustees who maintains the facilities of the church to actually have the authority over the use of those funds when it comes to making capital improvements, approving the use of the funds, and so forth. So we're really just trying to streamline the process and allow the church to operate more efficiently.
Okay, great. Thank you. Curly, so Eric's talked about it a little bit, but from your perspective, how will it help the trustees to have oversight of the plan giving funds, and how are you going to use those particular funds?
Well, it'll make the process a whole lot simpler for us to get to the funds whenever we do have an emergency or have a need for some type of capital improvement within the church. And the funds will only be used for those projects that uh, maintains or adds value back to the property. Uh, Air conditioners, for instance, whenever we have an air conditioner go down, then that money, we will take money from the planned giving fund to replace that air conditioner because we are replacing the asset and adding value back to the church property. So, but before the process was uh, cumbersome and we would pay the expenses out of our budget, our church budget, and then we'd go to planned giving, and it just made it really cumbersome. And this will simplify the whole process.
Great. And Curly, actually, you had mentioned at one point, I think, in our discussions that you had served in a church before where the administration of the plan giving money was under the board of trustees, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and you'd had access to that and been able to work well with that.
Yes.
And actually, when we checked and looked, the Book of Discipline prefers that the Board of Trustees is the group charged with the management of all wills and trusts and estates and funds like this as well. So,
Right, because a lot of the funds are designated for church improvements and in capital projects, and those things fall under the responsibility of the trustees. So,
Yeah, they sure do. So, Steve, what about you? Will plan giving still exist after all of this? And if they are, then what's going to be their function?
Well, when the Planned Giving Fund was established in September of 1996, it was given two responsibilities. The first responsibility is the education of the congregation and the promotion of legacy giving, which is planned giving, among the members of the congregation, and then to offer any advisory role in helping a member to the resource they might need if they want to leave a legacy gift to the church. That's one role, and that's more of a stewardship function. The other role that the Planned Giving Committee was given was the management of the investment of any planned giving gifts to the church and approval of requests to use the planned giving funds. Though that duty, the management of the funds and approval of requests for use, I think has always traditionally been with the Board of Trustees in most Methodist churches. And I think that's kind of what the Book of Discipline anticipates. Planned giving funds really are assets of the church. And the Board of Trustees has the responsibility to oversee the assets of the church. And so I think by moving that aspect of the planned giving committee to the Board of Trustees puts it where it should be, and also then leaves the planned giving committee to carry out its duties of education and assistance of members and making legacy gifts to the church. And then I might also add that the Florida United Methodist Foundation is a very good resource that our planned giving committee is in touch with and has used in the past to help carry on education programs to the church through seminars, and then also to assist individual members in setting up their legacy gift. And so we would continue to use that resource and help direct members where they need to go, either to the foundation or to their own personal financial advisor or attorney in establishing their desired gift. So the committee will focus on that aspect as opposed to the Board of Trustees responsibility for the use of the funds.
Okay, that sounds really good. I am so thankful for you gentlemen and for your leadership of these different committees and for your work over the last several months on this proposal together. And we have to have a charge conference about it because that's how our rules are set up. These changes have been approved by the Plan Giving Committee. They've been approved by the Finance Committee. They have been approved by our Leadership Council. But according to all of our policies and procedures, this type of change requires a vote of the charge conference. And our charge conferences typically aren't until October or November. So we felt it was important to go ahead and have a special one now and not wait quite so long to be able to make this change. So we hope that this information today helps you understand the vote that is coming up on March 22nd. And if you have any further questions about this, please feel free to email or call the church office, and someone will make sure to get back in touch with you and talk with you about this. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time today, and thank you, everyone, for watching.